set in 1965. We wanted to do the original version of the script. There's various versions. So as the producer, I wanted to make sure I had a director who bought into the idea of we're not going to update it.
I'm Mike Stevenson. I'm a freelance director. I'm a member of the B Street Theater Acting Company. I had directed Wittenberg like 6 years ago, and we've been keeping in touch and touching base, and he just called up one day and said, hey, you want to come up and do The Odd Couple? So it was a pretty obvious trick, and I fell for it.
The play's 50 years old, and it's kind of a time capsule. It's a time capsule of the American male. It's a time capsule of attitudes, and it's a time capsule of what's funny and the jokes, and all of it. It's like, let's just go back to that time and live it, kind of like a good mid-run season of Mad Men or something. It's just sort of awesome.
It's just a terrific play. It's built so beautifully. When I first read it, I was like, oh, it's really good. And then as it got on its feet, I just realized how much real humanity is in it and pathos that underlies so the comedy works. And we got a super talented cast, a bunch of just really strong players. Boston, Christopher, and James Sullivan are playing Oscar and Felix.
I play the role of Oscar Madison, who is the, they call him the slob, or they call him the, the messy one. But, back in 1965, that was a little bit different. He still was a professional man. He still knew how to dress. He's sort of gone downhill because his wife has left him. He's been living in this big 8-room apartment on the Upper West Side, on Riverside, for 6 months.
So I think many people know this, the beginning of Odd Couple. It's about these two men who live together because they've both gotten divorced. And the play starts with Felix literally has just been thrown out the day before. And he's so out of his mind and so out of sorts and doesn't know what he's doing with his life. And it's a very sad, but it's a lot of fun to play on stage.
It's about real human behavior and people at the bottom. The comedy works so well because we relate to these two guys who are lonely and troubled and trying to fix themselves. And they do succeed. And I think everybody can relate. It's about marriage, it's about friendship, it's about core human values that haven't changed that much.
The best clowns come from tragedy, right? So that's what makes the play so funny. And the interplay between the two characters, of course, Felix, Oscar and Felix.
I almost kind of forgot how much physical comedy there is in The Odd Couple, probably more than some of his other stuff he's written. Oscar does try and kill him a few times late in the show. Fortunately, I survive. He doesn't get me. It doesn't turn into Othello. But it's a lot of fun. I love running around like a crazy man.
It's just fun. I haven't been able to have fun on stage like this in terms of the comedy and the laughter and the sort of play with all the other actors in the show. And I haven't been able to do that for a while. So it's been, that's probably my favorite part, is being able to just play in a show that is, it doesn't take itself too seriously. There are some really nice themes in it, but it's just so fun to play comedy and have the laughter from the audience. It's a joy.
And I said, well, I haven't read it in a few years, and I remember, of course, the movie, and when I was a little kid, the TV series was running on the reruns all the time, so I'm very familiar with that. And I was like, well, I wonder if the jokes will seem dated, or the show itself. We'll find out. And it's funny is funny, and Neil Simon is real funny.
Neil Simon knows how to write a joke. He knows how to set it up, he knows how to pay it off, and the audience has a great time.
It's a riotous comedy. Come on down here, I guarantee you will laugh your butt off. Guaranteed.
Then there you are. What could I ask for?